Okay, so we are looking at the last video here for drawing unicorns, and what I wanted to show you was a few non-horse body types that you could base your unicorn on as well. There are a lot of other cultures that are not European cultures who have different ideas of unicorns. I put a few of them in the Junicorn document for you to look at and hyperlinked them. Um, but there are quite a few, and not all of them, most of them are not necessarily based on horses with horns. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and just really quick here. What we have is an adult, I think, klipspringer in the top left, a fawn, so which is a baby deer, right? A zebra. They're actually both zebras, but one is a much more rare spotted zebra baby, and with I think his mom, I don't know, and a goat, so which is a little less graceful, but still can make for an interesting body type for a unicorn. So anyway, we're going to look at those. I'm going to turn a few of these off, and because I don't have time to do all of them in the video, but I can show you drawings of a few of them. So again, as far as what to start with, I usually start with the head, kind of a little bit of a wedge shape. These guys have slightly smaller faces and heads, and then you've got kind of this little swoosh here. So kind of put this in. This gives me an idea of where that line of action is right here. Okay, and downward. One of the things to look at, so he's looking at you, which means he's foreshortened. So we can kind of do, this to divide his face in half. It's wider at the top than at the muzzle. And then one of the things you want to look at is this. So, his back is actually, his chin is down below. It's hitting about here. So this is where I would kind of put the bulk of that body, and he's a little bit more round than a horse would be. So we're going to get that in there. Again, just this kind of bulk of him, right? And this has a little bit of a, dip out here. Okay, so he actually looks like a duck right now, but we're going to fix that. So you've got kind of this, bulk here. And I'm going to place the legs. I might change them a little as we go, but have them, down here. Make sure that length is, when I look at it, I go, okay, well, this length here is about the same as this length here. So do I have that? Yes, I've sort of checked for that reference point. And then I've got kind of this little, hind leg bulk here. And this kind of coming out, again, like, what's the angle here between here? So this little leg joint back here is up a little further than maybe I thought it was. So I'm going to go here, and then this one is here. Now this one, again, you've got this little negative space right here. So I'm going to put the outside of the legs in, and this is almost a triangle right here. So I'm going to bring that in a little bit. And then his leg kind of kicks out. It doesn't go all the way forward to the other leg, but it does move forward, before the hoof goes down. And these guys have really, really pointy hooves if you look at them, because they are mountain deer. So they grab into these little tiny crevices in the rocks when they jump around. It's kind of cool. So I'm gonna simplify these. I'm just gonna draw them as sort of triangles and flatten the bottom out a little bit. So he's got his little, hoof here. These guys are really graceful and they're fun to watch. I think there's some sort of a clip springer channel on Instagram that I follow, and watching them kind of bounce around is really neat. Okay, so here's this back leg, and then again, this is going to go up a little bit. You can see where I've kind of played with the angles here. What goes where? There's that, bone. And you can see right here, like, this is a little wider than the bone in here, so I might narrow the actual legs a little bit. Okay. These guys, deer have cloven hooves, so that means they're split, unlike horses, which just have a single hoof. So you can kind of look at that. And some animals have dew claws, like little parts in the back. Lots of kinds of deer do. Sometimes you can't see them unless you're looking at the back of the deer. Others don't. But those are little anatomical details that are different from horses that you need to look at. So just look at the things that are the same and then look at the things that are different, and you can make a decision from there. Okay, so now I have the body, basically down. You can look at the ears, if you want to do kind of bigger ears. I think they look neat on unicorns, like little oversized ears. Clip springers have pretty eyes anyway, so you don't necessarily need to change them much. They're sort of the supermodels of the deer world. Deer are pretty to begin with, but these guys are really cute. Okay, and then, you can put the horn on him. You can change his face a little bit if you want. You can make it more deer-like, or you can make it more horse-like. It's up to you how you want to deal with that. I kind of like the little deer aspect of it there. And then the other thing you can do is you can start, you can give him a deer tail if you want, but we can start making him look more like a unicorn too, like a traditional unicorn. So that usually means a sort of flowy tail and a mane that you can just pay attention to the lines a little bit. Get that in there. You can even give them a wind blowing over the face effect, right? You can make them look a little less round if you want for a unicorn, but and the other thing you can do is give them a beard if you want. Sometimes unicorns are shown as having beards. They also sometimes have these little fetlock fur pieces back here. You can do that too if you want. Sometimes they have more of like instead of a horse tail, they have more like a lion tail. It just really depends on what you want to do, but pay attention to those things, and you can give them different little dapple markings if you want on them. Okay, and then put in some sort of when you guys do your assignment, you're going to give them a little context, so you want to put in some sort of background or something that tells, or interaction with another little character maybe, that just tells something about them and gives them purpose for being there. Like, tell me a little bit about your unicorn without using words, right? And then you can start cleaning up. So again, I did that mostly without an eraser, but you can start vacuuming up the things that are in your way. And mostly I draw through. I know we talked about drawing through at the beginning of the school year. That was something that we went over, and it's basically this kind of thing. You know, I drew the whole bulk of this. It just occurred to me that you can't see my pencil where I'm pointing, so let me pick a different color and show you. Like right here. That didn't work with the other. Why didn't it? Okay, there. So you can see right there. Like I drew through that. This is intersecting that, which it normally wouldn't on a real animal, but you can just go back at the end. That's just so your lines line up, and you can go back at the end and take that out and decide what's in front and what's behind when it comes to that. Okay. And if you're doing digital work, this is the point. You almost don't need to clean up too much, because you just need a basis for your color or your line work that you're going to do on top of it if you're going to clean up that way. And then you can, drop your transparency and put an overlay. But if you're doing pencil work or something, this is, the point at which you would kind of ghost down your graphite, take your eraser and erase a lot of it, and then, decide which lines you want to keep. I have a whole bunch of lines here. I might not want to keep all of them. So there's one, and we'll go ahead and, here, I'll pick a different color. Maybe this kind of like dark brown color here. Okay. And then, so you can do the same thing here. This guy, this guy's a little bit smaller, but he has a little bit of a wedge head, right? Sort of this triangle here, upside down. Little nose. Okay. Normally I don't start with that, but I don't know. He has a cute little face, so. Okay. You've got this. And then he's kind of shaped a little boxier, right? Like, he has this kind of, I don't know, upside down, like trapezoid effect, sort of. And goats have great ears. Oh my gosh, they have these great, like, floppy ears. And I think I might actually do a little Junicorn goat, just because they're adorable, right? But then he's floofier, so this is, you want to get the general shapes in, and then you can go back and deal with the floof. We can make him have a little, like, we can make this like a lion-tailed one if we want. Here. And then he's got sort of like, those knobby knees. But this one has a lot more fur covering, so he's softer looking than, like a horse would be, with really short fur, kind of sleek looking. He's not sleek, he's a little shaggy. He's got looser skin that you can see these little wrinkles right in here, right? And his hooves sort of disappear into the grass, so we're not seeing a lot of that. So that would be maybe hidden in here. If I wanted his hooves showing, I could look up goat hooves and see what that looks like. But okay, so see how I had way too much space between here and here, so I needed to bring that leg way forward, that second leg, and pay attention to the negative space that was in there, because I didn't the first time around. And this kind of goes back. Again, like, see, there's that little negative space in there, so I need to open that up a little bit. So I made his legs. I did not leave a thigh gap for him, so I needed to do that. Okay, so I have to go back and change things a lot. Like I said, nothing is static. You can just change it. And then for the parts that are overlapping, this definitely goes over this. This makes a little more sense that way. And then you could come in and if you break your lines up a little bit, he looks shaggier. So you don't have to have one continuous line. If I really wanted to make him, you know, I'd put these little like waddle things in here, right? I don't know about having that on a unicorn though. That's very goat-like. So I'd continue to give him fur, more fur, make him look more shaggy, right? Break up this line underneath, you know, the belly here. He had too much straight line, so he looked a little too sleek when he really doesn't. Okay, and then again, we can sort of value map this out if we wanted to. There's some major areas of shading that could go in here because the sun light is coming the direction that it is. So just be careful, like when you draw fur, you want to make sure that you're also making the fur kind of go your brush strokes or your pencil strokes go the direction that the fur grows. Otherwise, it can look funny. Okay, so again, we can kind of make this darker in here, make that go back a little recessively. Don't forget you can make marks with your eraser too, so this is something that I can do, you know, and if you take a look a little closer, I mean, you can't see in this picture, but details can make a big difference. Goats have sort of sideways pupils that are really interesting looking, and that's kind of a neat detail that you could put in there. And then we could make him floofy. We could give him a floofy mane if we wanted to, because it's a unicorn, so you can give him still like unicorn. You could give him a little ruff around here, like make him have more fur coming, almost like a lion's mane kind of idea, right? Maybe that beard makes more sense on a goat than it did the one up there. But you know, like, have fun with it. Do something cool. And I'll show you. I did a goat unicorn a couple years ago, so I'll show you guys a few things that I've done as well. But I hope this helps. And this is just to get you started with some ideas, and then you can kind of use your imagination and take off on your own. These are slightly more realistic drawings in the sense that they're actually from an animal, and I've copied elements of that animal, but you are welcome to make it yours because it's your drawing. Okay, so